Welcome back to another episode. Before we forget, where I'm Duran
And I'm Mike.
and we keep it plain and simple. And today I got a question for you, brother.
What's that?
Why do black actors, male and female, have to go through an extra loop just to get the attention they deserve?
I don't necessarily think it's just black actors. I think it's black people in general. And that's kind of generalizing us as a group of people, and this isn't to cause divide or anything like that.
Right. No, it's just a legitimate question.
But we were taught you got to work twice as hard to get half the recognition, essentially. And I think a lot of it has to do with not the old world views of things, but the connections that I think other races have that we don't. Especially if you're like us, where parents didn't go to college, parents they did an awesome job raising us and providing for us, but it was just a different time. And so we're really like that first generation to go to college and do things like that. And we're trying to break some generational curses. But I really think that we have to work twice as hard because we don't have those same connections that other races have. And I say that being in our line of business, I've seen I had my boss come in 2 days ago with her boss, and her boss is sitting down and he goes, "Hey, you got any positions open?" And my boss is like, "I got some here, and here. Oh yeah, because I have a friend whose son, is looking for a job, and he just graduated high school, and I figured that'd be a good job to start him with." We never, never had those type of connections. Like, if we're looking for a job, we have to apply, we have to interview, we have to do all of this. And I'm not saying it's bad to have those connections, but we have to work literally from the ground up to get everywhere. And it's not one or two people have to do it. It's majority of black people have to work from the ground up, scrape, scratch, claw to get to where they're at. And I think that foundation of working from the ground up is generations ago for, let's say, white people or some other races.
Absolutely. For the most part, when you look at these things, the things I'm saying is like recently, Taraji P. Henson, just some months back, said that she wasn't getting paid enough money because she redid the movie Color Purple, right?
Yep.
And so she put that out there. And then, beforehand, we had Monique saying she wasn't getting paid enough money. Of course, that wasn't the same thing because it was the whole Dave Chappelle thing. But
I kind of agree with Monique in that too, but we'll touch base on that here in a little bit.
Right. And it's like, why do we have to do that? I feel like as a community, if we're not embarrassing ourselves or we not doing something that compromises our integrity, then we don't get an audience. We don't get the views. We don't get the attention or respect. We have to do something just outlandish because that's what people expect us to do, is to act out or to do something. But when we are being serious and when we do something that's considered classy, it doesn't garner the same attention as normal actors or another person would get. And that bothers me because you can see it all the time. Look at how many times we had great actors play these phenomenal roles. Like, for instance, we had the Tina Turner movie, right?
Yep.
And who played Tina Turner?
Don't remember her name.
That's okay. That is all right, because I don't remember her name either. But more importantly, we had Lawrence Fishburne in there and a few other actors. But in my mind, you would have thought that movie would have got her a Grammy or Oscar, right?
Yeah.
It didn't. But why is that? Do you feel like anybody else at that time would have been able to play that role like that?
No, and that's
and it's nothing against her because I always forget her name and I love her to death. And
Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
How do we forget her name every time?
I don't know, but then I remember Viola Davis. But
I mean, even Viola Davis, I don't feel like she gets the credit she deserves nowadays either. And I think there's a twofold problem with like the Hollywood side of things, right? But before we go into the actors, actresses things, You touched on a base that I really wanted to touch on too, is that like I feel like society has this generalized view of black people from like the Real Housewives shows and all of these TV shows that make it look like we're all drama, right? And they put us and categorize us in this, but there are also TV shows with white people where it's a lot of drama, but it's not categorized for their whole culture, well, their whole society.
Yeah, but look, check it out. Here's the difference between ours and theirs. Ours is based off of the things that we associate with hip hop, Atlanta. Who are the people that's in Atlanta? Who are the people that's considered hip hop? You got the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and y'all arguing over who got what money, and y'all both living in places some people will never ever get to live in or experience or do, and that's your biggest thing. Your biggest thing is, oh, what house are we moving to next?
True.
Obviously, it's a scripted show, but that's what they consider drama to them. So basically, they're living off the work that we are getting, the work that we're getting and putting in towards the show to act out or look that way. But they're doing that, but with less oomph to it and still getting paid money. Some of these people are on like season 25, season 30. Like their kids have literally grown up on this show, and you basically gave them a bag because all they was doing was in the back playing with some Legos in 2012, and now they driving Beamers and buying houses in 2024. Like what?
See, but the difference is how many black people are watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Orange County or whatever, right? We're not watching that and going, man, we really love this show
because we can't relate,
right? But there is a section of white people who do watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop, like all of these shows, because they want to embrace that culture or because they just find it entertaining. Right?
Which it is. I'm not saying that it's not entertaining, but it's a problem.
Well, I hate those shows. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's okay. But think about it like this: when Rolling Loud come around and they show previews, you ain't got a ticket. You see the crowd. When these rappers come out and perform, who's in the crowd?
It's majority white.
Like literally,
they are living in our culture, right? But that's where I think the working 2 times as hard comes in, because they see what they believe is our culture on TV and in movies and all of this. And then when they see a real black person who's working and moving forward, like, and trying to grow, there's this bias, I believe, of like that. What am I getting? Right.
So it's like seeing a dinosaur and wanting dinosaur to do dinosaur things, but then the dinosaur don't try to kill you. And you like, well, what's happening here? Last time I checked, he's a carnivore and you're not eating nobody. It's not making sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But in this instance, like, I feel like they run into that. But when we see white people, we don't sit here and think like, oh, mob, the one about the mob wives. Like, we're not thinking that all white people are in the mob and are trying to get me killed or murdered or this or that. Like, I think the perception changes on that. And so we have to work twice as hard, because the representation of black people in America is that we're poor, is that we're lazy, is that we don't work, things like that. And that we can't talk literally, or like all of these things that they put out there. And it doesn't help when hip hop, but like, I love hip hop. That's my number one form of music, R&B and hip hop. But it doesn't help when they glorify a lot of the things that happens in the hood. And white people are listening to this and loving it, but they think this is what every black person's life is.
So, I mean, I'm gonna just debunk that mystery for anybody that's listening. First of all, I want to reiterate, this show is not about race. It's not about us putting somebody down, lifting somebody else up. It's just a general question that we ask so everybody can have an understanding, and everybody should have some form of input, because we all share the same 24 hours in a day. Now, after that PSA, think about it like this. when you go to the hood, essentially, then you think all this stuff is happening, but really you're seeing a community of people that's struggling. You see people that's trying to come up, and you see people who gave up. Essentially debunking that whole struggle culture. That's not even real. What it is that we're taking a situation that is absolutely terrible, it's horrible, and we making the best of it, and it looks fun because we're making it look fun because that's how we survive. Is we smile, we make the best of what we're given, right? So if we are poor, we don't have something. If you go back a couple podcast episodes where we feature Rich, you hear us share some of our stories where we're talking about I didn't have this. It's not to say that our parents was just, oh my gosh, so poor they couldn't provide and they couldn't get no direction and a tiny violin. No, we made the best of those situations because that's what we had to do. And as we continue to grow, we keep making the best of that situation, and it keeps going in a cycle. And we're able to essentially jumpstart each other like batteries to encourage one another. So when you see another person that's like that, that's how those friendships are forged. Now, not like our friendship is forged like that, right?
Right. And I think a few years back, somebody said it best that you have people that are your friends because you survived the struggle together or you went through that struggle together. And then you have people who are friends because you want to get out of the struggle and they're in that same boat as well. Right. And
so when you get both, then what?
Yeah. But some of the friends that we were in a struggle with today, we are not close with. And it's not because like we're better than them or anything like that. It's that we had that mindset that we didn't want to stay in a struggle our whole lives. They didn't. Right. And so naturally it faded apart. But that starts diving into a different topic.
Oh, we definitely we going places tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot of it's the representation of what Black people are out there. And then you have to work to prove that you're competent to do the same job that somebody of a different race can do.
Like, I feel like if we could dive into the minds of folks, I want to see how they really view Denzel. Because Denzel don't do nothing but act. Denzel don't do nothing but show excellence. You got Spike Lee. You got a whole bunch of these other people that's out here really just taking off and doing. Now, I don't know what they're doing because I don't live with them. I don't know them personally. I don't, see them off screen or nothing like that when they're not doing interviews. But just what do people see when they see that type of person walking around? And then speaking of Viola Davis, she has every single award now, but it's like she goes out there and she puts it all on the table. But she really gets into it, but I feel like she doesn't have the respect behind it. She just has the rewards.
Yeah.
But we respect her because we already know what that's hidden for. But a really good comparison is just like how Angela Bassett lost the award to Jamie Lee Curtis for the Halloween series. Mind you, I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
I do, and
the Halloween series is my jam. You know how I feel about me some Michael Myers, bro.
Yeah.
But the last couple that came out, if she won for that,
they were trash.
They were a conclusion, but it wasn't Oscar or Grammy worthy to win. And then if you look over the legacy, Jamie Lee Curtis got some funny movies, but Angela Bassett has definitely played some phenomenal roles and then carried that role over to a TV show and still put forth that same effort. It's crazy how she didn't get it. Now, am I saying it was rigged or something was bad? No, but I'm saying I felt like that validates my point.
Yeah.
And then they proceeded to humiliate her on TV. But we'll get into that on another podcast. We want to know how you feel. Do you feel like the Black actors, male and female, have to do more than the other actors to get attention? Comment on the socials, and we out.
We out.